What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Terrier Owner YouTube channel. Luna and I are happy that you came back for another video. We do have an important topic to discuss today. And today, guys, we are going to cover a topic that not only can prevent some annoying behaviors, but also help keep your Jack Russell Terrier safe and help keep you sane. Today, guys, we are going to be talking about jumping, how to stop the behavior, what to do, what not to do, how to do your best to curb the behavior as much as possible. With this dog, some things are difficult. We'll talk about that later in the video. For now, guys, if you could give us a thumbs up on the video, that'd be greatly appreciated. It goes a long way towards helping us get noticed so that other people with this dog breed can get the help that they need, learning how to raise and care for the Jack Russell Terrier. Never forget about terrierowner.com, the blog site associated with this YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now would be a great time to do that. But let's go ahead and dive into the topic of a Jack Russell and jumping. And I think the most important thing that you guys need to understand about this topic when it comes to a Jack Russell jumping behaviors, jumping on people, jumping in general, is that it is going to happen. This is a dog with some natural hops. They love to jump. There's a few things a Jack Russell is an expert at. One is digging, two is jumping, and of course they have that prey drive that I always talk about, which can actually be one of the precursors to a reason why they would jump. But that is very important to understand about this dog. While this video is dedicated towards helping you curb the behavior, it is important to understand that it's going to happen, and even with your best efforts, it may be nearly impossible to completely get rid of a jumping behavior in a Jack Russell Terrier. Put simply, it is hard to stop. It is hard to stop at 100% at least, but there are ways that you can begin to reduce it for sure. So for a lot of you who haven't adopted your Jack Russell yet, or maybe you just did and they're still a puppy and the jumping hasn't really started, you're probably most curious about why it's that big of a deal. What's annoying about it? What poses a risk if they become a really jumpy dog, so to speak? And there's a few things. For me, it comes down to three big things on the jumping that you need to understand. First, it's annoying. You don't think it might be that annoying early, but it's annoying for friends, it's annoying for family, it's annoying for anybody else who shows up. Maybe you grow to see it as a sign of affection. You think it's just them being excited. They're happy to see you, they love you, and they want to show you that they're happy. That's awesome. But your friends aren't always going to feel the same way. Even if they get to know the dog or they see it all the time, jumping is not a behavior you want a dog to do for friends, company, or just people that you run into on a walk. So that's number one, guys. It's just annoying. Number two is it's dangerous. So you don't think it would be that dangerous, but let's say you have a backyard with a low fence. We have a fence that's only 4 feet tall. A Jack Russell can easily clear that height. So it's dangerous because if they do get out of the fence, and it's not by digging, and they get out by jumping, which Luna has done several times, that not only exposes them to other animals, but it exposes them to traffic, it exposes them to getting lost, and if they're not fixed, it exposes them to wandering further, because dogs do that whenever they're in heat. They naturally gravitate towards other dogs, so to speak. So it's annoying, it's dangerous, and it's just a safety concern with other people too. It's something as stupid and simple as, let's say you haven't clipped their front nails and you have a friend over who has a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. The dog may mean no harm to anybody. It may just be excited and trying to show love and licking the face of a little toddler, but they can scratch them. Jumping just encourages not only annoying behavior, but it encourages just little silly incidents that can occur that can cause some harm to somebody else. So from that standpoint, it's a third safety concern, so to speak. So it is something you want to try and curb the best that you can. So the Jack Russell Terrier, depending on how long you've been raising one, I think most of you can agree, like, wow, this behavior would be next to impossible to stop. And it is, in full transparency. It's super difficult to stop the behavior completely. There are a few things, though, that you can do that help curb it dramatically. My biggest struggle, to tell you up front before we go into tips and tricks here, hasn't been getting her to stop jumping on people. That's actually been probably the most successful part of the training with jumping. It's when the prey drive kicks in, or she gets in that, emotional, show off phase where a neighbor dog is barking a few houses down, where she really wants to get over one of the fences. That's when it's difficult. It's difficult when this dog's mind takes over and they want to go to a different place mentally, and it's hard to snap your fingers and break them out of that. What is easier though is getting them to be more calm around friends and family or around your own family in the household. And the first thing you need to do, or my biggest tip, is you need to learn what rewarding really is. A lot of people, when they hear rewards and they own a dog, they immediately think treats. Like everything they do that's good, give them a treat every time. That's not the only way a reward works with a dog. Simply showing them affection is something, especially with a Jack Russell, that they look for actively and that they want. They want your praise, they want your approval, so to speak. So if you constantly get home from work and you're coming in the front door and your Jack Russell leaps up onto you and is just jumping straight up in the air so they can get closer to your face, and all you're doing is baby talking them and telling them how much you love them and petting them and rubbing their belly, that's a reward. If you want behaviors that you don't like to stop, you cannot give any form of reward. You have to reward behaviors on the other side of the spectrum. So let's say that you do get home from work and jumping has finally, put you at a point where you're annoyed, or a friend's kid did get scratched and you want it to stop. You need to stop showing the rewards, stop showing them love. Doesn't mean discipline them, it means become emotionless for those behaviors. On the flip side though, start programming their little brain right here on the behaviors that are essentially polar opposites of jumping, so that they start recognizing that, oh, calmness is what he's looking for. For example, if you get home and they don't sprint to the door and jump on you and they're sitting patiently, that's a very good time to give a reward. If you have friends over and they don't jump on them and they're sitting there calmly, that's a good time to give them a reward. Not a good time to just ignore the behavior completely and go about your day. Don't disregard it, because this dog is smart. Disregarding something is essentially the same as either a neutral, like nothing happened, or they think that they're still doing something wrong because they want love all the time. So reward laying down, reward sitting, reward calmness. Do not reward with love and affection on behaviors that you do not want to see. Do not give treats for those behaviors. You have to start rewarding the things that you like to see. And you have to start ignoring the things that you don't. That is a good way to get a message across to this dog. To follow up on that, guys, another thing that's important is you have to be careful with how you're even playing with this dog. It's easy to go, out in the backyard or to a dog park or on a hike and get in a playful mood with the dog. That's what dogs are for, right? To reduce some stress, to be your best friend. But if you're staying consistent all the time with what I just said, you're rewarding the calmness and not rewarding the jumping behavior, you can't go turn playtime into a jump fiasco where that's where you want them to jump and then they're getting to play and they're having a blast. Like, think of it like a child. If this dog has fun and then gets a reward for something, what do you think that they're going to continue to do in their brain? And at that point, whose fault is it, in all honesty? Is it theirs or yours? Because I would argue that it's yours. If you're going to give them what they want for doing what you don't want, that's your fault. So you have to be careful with how you structure everything. Consistency with this dog or any dog is going to be key, especially a stubborn dog that is set in their own ways a majority of their time. So you need to stay consistent and stay patient while you're doing this and make sure that you're consistent across all forms of interaction. The next thing I'll tell you guys is more of a preparation more than a tip, but you need to understand that even with perfection on those tips I just said, that jumping will happen. This dog gets into their modes, they do their zoomies, they have a ton of energy. It is tough to make a dog that can jump 5 feet in the air with the energy that they have never let their feet leave the ground. So you need to just get to the point of acceptance to where you understand it's going to happen and there's nothing you can really do about it except those things I just said before to reduce it as much as possible. However, what you can do about it is be more prepared for it happening. That means that you're more dedicated towards making sure the yard is safe. Don't give them platforms they can use to get out. Make sure if they're going to have to jump out of the yard, you at least make it difficult on them. Make sure when they're out and about, they're either on a leash or on a harness, and that you keep a little distance when you're on walks because you know that jumping or getting up in somebody's face may be a thing. At the end of the day, guys, this is a jumping dog. They like to jump. All you can do is try your best. It's also a topic I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, or your methods on how you've reduced jumping with your Jack Russell Terrier. Be sure to leave those comments down below for us. If we don't read them, we have no idea, what we could do better, and neither does the audience, so it's super helpful. Be sure that if you haven't, she's getting all riled up right now. Be sure that if you have not already given us a thumbs up that you do that before you exit the video. It helps us out immensely. Be sure to hit that notification bell so that you are notified for all of our future videos that are coming out weekly right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and never forget to check out terrierowner.com. This specific video has its own blog post in a written format that you can learn about this topic as well, with all the tips and tricks among hundreds of other topics as well. So check out terrierowner.com, guys. Outside of that, guys, we appreciate you, and we will see you in the next video.